Hello and welcome to the Drawing Animal Podcast with Wesley Bear. I'm your host, Wesley Bear, and on today's episode, we will be talking about one of the largest creatures in the world, if not the oceans of the world, the sperm whale. The sperm whale is one of the largest whales in the world and is definitely the largest of the toothed whales. So, toothed whales are any whale that just has a regular set of teeth uh, used for feeding rather than the bleeding filter of something like a blue whale or a fin whale. But anything else is considered a toothed whale. This even includes, um, though some of these are in a separate family, but it kind of just how groups are laid out, it can be a little confusing. But basically, killer whales, dolphins, porpoises are all kind of within the toothed whale family, though, of course, they're in different families and different groups as well. But if you just look at the broad scope of whales and dolphins, those are all toothed whales, and the sperm whale just happens to be the largest within that group, that larger family. Uh, there is actually a pygmy sperm whale, but we won't be getting into that now. We will be talking, of course, the more common and larger cousin, who is, again, huge, being about 50 tons in weight and about uh, 60 feet long. So definitely a huge animal. Uh, most sperm whales will grow up until about they're 50, 45 years old, and then will live out the remainder of their lives, which is about 60 to 65. Um, Females tend to be quite a bit smaller, around 35 feet long, and they mature faster than adult male sperm whales. So they're, but in the end, they all live around the same age. Um, Male and female are in groups together for some period of time. The males tend to separate into bachelor groups from about age 9, but they can rejoin the group at any time. Meanwhile, females tend to stick closer in their groups for much longer, and it's usually a female that you will find as the head in most sperm whale groups or pods that you see. The largest will usually be the female. Um, um, Babies are also, again, huge, being about 13 feet in length after about a 14 month gestation period. So again, so you go from about 13 feet to about 20 feet in 25 feet in females, and about 30 feet in males. They break off for a time and then will come back together for mating and for small family gatherings, but mostly males are solitary while females lead the herd or group or pod, whatever word you want to use there. Uh, in sperm whales, we have about 52 teeth, most teeth of any, at least of the whale family, and those teeth can be used to hunt a number of different animals, usually deep below the surface of the water. This includes uh, squid mainly, and especially those giant squid that are fairly familiar to us, but any kind of squid, large amounts of larger fish, and even sharks. Some smaller species, not the big, huge ones like white sharks, but definitely some of the smaller species have been known to be eaten by sperm whales as well. Sperm whales are distributed throughout most of the waters of the world. They will vary in places just depending on food um availability. And while they do not have the large migratory patterns of some of the baleen whales, there have been some indications of migratory patterns, just not on the scale that most whales, uh, especially baleen whales, accomplish. Uh, Sperm whales, though, of course, as I mentioned, will travel 2,000 feet below the surface. They're able to accomplish that by the means of a couple of methods. First off, the oil in their heads. Their oil in their heads is mostly used as twofold to protect their large brain, which is the largest brain of any animal on the planet, and as a kind of resonance chamber and actually amplify sound, actually. So that's why um, sperm whales are also tend to be the loudest animals on the planet, around 230 decibels. So very loud animals, but the oil can be used also in traveling through deep water. So basically, you have blood vessels, of course, around the head. It includes the oil sac, which is called a spermatocy. That's where we get the word sperm whale. It's for oil sac. And the blood vessels will act as, of course, a heat source to protect the temperature of the brain, but also the temperature controls the temperature of the oil as well. Uh, and so if those more thinner, smaller blood vessels pull away from the oil, there's less heat. And of course, as there's less heat for oil, the thicker and denser it becomes. Um, and so that will allow the sperm whale to remain buoyant. But if those blood vessels near the edge of the oil sac become heated and larger, they will act as basically a way to viscosize or uh, change the viscosity. That's what I was looking for. The viscosity of the oil, and thus it becomes much thinner, allowing them to make those enormously deep dives despite being these huge animals carrying this enormous sack of oil in their head. But this is only what allows them to dive. They also have way more oxygen rich blood cells than uh, a lot of other uh, animals. It's kind of the opposite. Like when we talked all the way back with some of our mountain animals, like with the yellow rumped leaf deer mounts, uh, this is kind of the opposite way where that blood vessel allows them to dive deep and still retain that oxygen. So instead of going up a mountain, you're going traveling the opposite direction where there's, again, less oxygen. But the blood vessels aid in ensuring that doesn't cause the animal to nauseate and, pass out. Um, Sperm whales also have the ability to collapse their rib cage. So, of course, under a lot of pressure, there's more weight and effect on the body the further down you go. Well, if they didn't have a collapsed rib cage, it would basically collapse the lungs instead and create pressure to where the lungs would burst and you would die, of course. So it's very necessary for sperm whales to have all these assets in order for them to be the great animal divers that they are. So definitely a lot about the sperm whale in terms of their life and their ability to maintain this strange relationship between uh, being able to be these giant surface creatures that we that have been known for oil and traveling through the vast oceans of the world, and yet maintain this dark secret life that they often dive to find the most unusual food, including giant squid. So pretty amazing what sperm whales have accomplished and helped accomplish for the world, because the oil in sperm whales is pretty much how um, life was maintained for most of the 17 and 1800s in terms of how we got our oil. There wasn't petroleum around, and uh, whale oil was the big, huge thing. And of course, that whaling industry was the height of what provided the pretext for, of course, the great American classic Moby Dick. And of course, the sperm whale is what Moby Dick was, a white sperm whale. Uh, and we'll get more into that story some other time, but I just wanted to leave it there. So, a lot to talk about. I may even do a second one on sperm whales just because there is just so much to learn about these amazing giants. But in the meantime, enjoy nature, enjoy drawing, enjoy God's creation. And I just pray that God would give you the voice in your own life to be an amazing vessel for Him, for His glory, to provide light to the world and to be a voice in the darkness. And yeah, that you would just know what God has for you and you would use it to give people um, their own voice and that they may be illuminaries themselves. And we know this is all possible because of Christ and because of the promise sent of the Holy Spirit living inside us. So just pray you would know that and you would have a wonderful day.